Next one. Humboldt High School in Humboldt, Texas. Sarah, please.
Right, Sarah.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Nicholas, and as he said, I am a senior at Humboldt High School in Humboldt, Texas. I love to do anything with music that includes singing, playing the piano, and dancing to it even if I can't dance. And I'm a member of my high school's varsity basketball team. It is also my pleasure to work at Chick-fil-A. I have 4 brothers who have taught me a lot of patience, but as you can tell, they've also made life very fun. I have a very supportive family who have helped me to achieve my goals. As a little girl, I not only looked like my mom, but wanted to become like her in every way. She has a teaching degree in elementary education, and I wanted to follow in her footsteps. From a young age, everything about teaching came easily to me. I loved reading books too and playing school with my younger siblings. And when my parents left the house, with my older brothers in charge, I left in peace knowing I would be the one to take care of things. Now that I'm older, I still want to be a teacher, but my reasons have changed. Instead of wanting a teaching degree just because my mom has one, I want a teaching degree so I can touch lives and make a difference in the world. The basis of my platform today is the word care. A word we've all known from a young age that simply means loving or showing compassion for someone or something. I've heard it said that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Showing children you care should be one of the first things implemented in a classroom. Once someone knows you care, not only are they more likely to listen and respect what you have to say, but they will be more comfortable talking to you. Too many times today, teachers focus on their subject matter and above and beyond everything else. Curriculum is important, but if a child doesn't feel cared for, they will not have any motive to put forth the effort to learn the material. Many of you stopped by my booth yesterday and picked up the little bag of change. If you opened it up, you found 3 little pennies inside, and that's just my way of showing you that I value you more than just your 2 cents. Also included in the bag was a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. It read, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Change represents C, the first letter in care. If you want to see a positive difference made in this world, then you need to step up and make real change in your life. If you don't do it, who will? There are many around us in need of change, and we may walk by them without even realizing it. When my brother Colin was a senior in high school, he befriended a wheelchair-bound special needs boy named Dan. They worked together as student aides in the front office, and Colin carefully avoided getting in Dan's way as he sped down the hallways to deliver his passes. One day, Colin decided to invite Dan over to our house for pizza and board games. After hearing so many wonderful things about him, we excitedly anticipated his arrival. The doorbell finally rang, and Dan squealed and giggled his way up to our house as his mom walked slowly behind. Dan wheeled his way in, greeting all of us with smiling faces and reciting back to us everything Colin had told him about us. As my brothers went off with Dan, his mom approached me with tears in her eyes as she said, "This is the first time in his 22 years he has ever been over to our friend's house." Tears now welled up in mine as I expressed to her how excited we were to have him over and how much fun we were going to have. I clearly remember shutting the door with this belief that this sweet boy had never done what I had taken for granted thousands of times. All it took was my brother's caring invitation to a friend to change it. I had since that time become very close friends with Dan. I remember thinking that first day that I was so happy to be able to change Dan's life and be a positive influence, when in reality, he has changed me more than I will ever change him. As teachers, how many students will we come across who, like Dan, need someone to make a positive change in their lives? Will we be the ones to make the change? I strive to be that person, and I challenge each of you to do the same. There once was an old man walking along the beach. He saw a little girl picking up starfish and throwing them back into the sea. He thought that was kind of strange, and so he walked up and asked her what she was doing. She told him that if the starfish were left on the beach, they would dry up and die. So she was taking the time to pick up the starfish and throw them back in. He explained that that was great and all, but there's millions of starfish and thousands of beaches, so how can you make a difference? The young girl looked him in the eye, bent down, picked up the starfish, and threw it into the sea. She turned to the old man and said, I just made a difference to that one. The A in care is for attitude. Our attitudes have an incredible impact on what happens in our lives. The older man had the attitude that there are millions of starfish and that little girl simply couldn't make a difference. The little girl, however, had a completely different attitude. She knew that although there were millions of starfish to be saved, she could make a difference. She didn't care about what anyone said to her. She didn't care about the weird look she got for what she was doing. She continued to pick up the starfish and throw them into the ocean because making a difference was what was important to her. As a prospective high school math teacher, I watched hundreds of kids walking in and out of my classroom, and that can seem pretty daunting. But if I had the perspective of this little girl, and I focus on the students one at a time, before I know it, I will be able to touch every child that walks into my classroom. Next in care comes the reality. The reality is, as Forrest T. Whitcraft said, 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. The nicer things in life are often great to have, but they have no long-term value. Our deepest desires cannot be filled with worldly possessions money can buy. Countless times I've just wanted one more cute shirt or pair of shoes. It goes my wants temporarily, but soon I find myself not satisfied with my purchase, wanting one more. I have found that nothing brings me lasting joy more than helping others. Last weekend I was stressing a little bit about this conference and if I was going to have everything ready. When I got a text message from one of my friends that said, I'm so sorry about what happened to Katie. Last time I had seen Katie, everything was great, and so I asked her what had happened. Instead of getting another message back, my phone rang, and I heard my friend's perfect voice on the end of the line saying, I'm so sorry I have to be the one to tell you this. I'm so sorry. Katie was pretty accident prone, so I just assumed maybe she'd fallen and broken a leg or something. It went pretty serious, but we could fix that. But instead, my friend said, Katie was killed in a car accident yesterday morning. I couldn't believe it. In fact, for a while I denied it. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that my 19-year-old friend was now dead. How could this be happening right now, especially at a time when I needed my thoughts cleared and together? I ended up not getting much more done and instead spent the rest of the afternoon on Facebook just reading things that people posted on her wall. I knew what a great person she was, but not to this extent. There was tons of posts from different people saying how Katie had touched their lives. After her funeral, I watched as person after person filed out of the room. For a solid 10 minutes, people kept passing by, and I realized that the large worship room had been completely packed. What hit me most was just how many people were there. Katie was a person who touched so many lives in such a short amount of time. It is never easy to lose a friend, so I kept trying to find the positive. What kept running through my head is life is short. Katie spent every moment of her life living and helping those around her and accomplished in 19 years what I hope to accomplish in a lifetime. It made me realize that I need to refocus my priorities on the things that matter most. The reality is, I'm not the most important thing in the world, and I need to live each moment making as much of a difference as I can. So when it's my time to go, I can look back with no regrets as Katie did. I hope to apply this lesson to my teaching and not only make the most of every moment, but to make sure I'm taking advantages of every opportunity to help those around me. Last but not least, the E is for equality. Now I have a question. I have a $20 bill in my hand, and if I held it out, how many of you guys would like it? Pretty much every one of you. Now what if I was to crumple it up in my hand? Do you guys still want it? What if I threw it on the ground and stepped on it and kind of, you guys still want it? Of course, because it still has the same $20 value. Just like this $20 bill, as a future teacher, you'll have students of all shapes, sizes, and ethnicities walk into your classroom. Some will walk into your class looking like a model student with their clothes pressed in styled hair, while others will step in looking much like this $20 bill. And I literally took them, crumbled them up, and threw them on the ground. As a teacher, it is our job to see that this $20 bill doesn't lose its value, just like a child, no matter how he or she looks, does not lose the value. Each child has the same great potential, and we need to make sure they realize the value in themselves. If we do not encourage their success, we are nothing more than failing them ourselves. All in all, I want our teachers to care more in the classroom. As elected president, I want to encourage change, increase positive attitudes, focus on reality, and recognize equality. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all which have the potential to turn a life around. When you all start implementing these powerful tools of care for students everywhere, I would be honored to have your vote here as FEA President to show that not only does I care, but you care to make a difference in the world. Thank you.